In this video, we are looking at a type of children's picture book that is selling like crazy on Amazon. And the best part is you don't need to write a single storyline. These books are fun, simple to create, and massively profitable. If you've ever wanted to publish children's picture books, but writing a whole plot or a whole story isn't your thing, this might be the perfect fit. Curious? You should be. Hi, welcome to Self-Publishing Central. My name is Caroline, and every single week I share real strategies, case studies, and behind-the-scenes tips to help you build a thriving self-publishing business. If you've ever thought about publishing a children's picture book but felt overwhelmed by trying to write a story, today's video is going to open your eyes to a whole new opportunity. We're talking about a type of children's book that almost no one in the self-publishing space is paying attention to, yet it's one of the easiest, fastest, and most profitable types of books that you can create. No, you don't need to be a storyteller. In fact, you don't need to write a story at all. You don't need to invent any characters. You don't even need to write dialogue. You just need to be curious, a little bit strategic, and a little bit creative. Because today we are diving into the world of non-fiction children's picture books. These are books about bugs, space, the weather, the human body, dinosaurs, you name it. And guess what? These books are in massive demand. Parents love them, teachers use them, and kids just can't get enough of them. And if you're self-publishing on Amazon KDP, non-fiction children's picture books are a seriously untapped niche with huge potential. I'm going to show you why exactly that is, how to spot the opportunities, how to create one, even if you've never done it before, and how perfect these books are to turn them into an entire self-publishing brand. But first, let's just take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture, because this is where things get really exciting. Non-fiction children's picture books don't just sell well individually, they thrive as part of a series, and this is a huge opportunity that not enough self-publishers are capitalizing on. Take a look at the best-selling books in this niche. I'm talking about series like the Big Book series, which includes titles like The Big Book of Bugs, The Big Book of Birds, The Big Book of the Blue, and over a dozen more books. These books are instantly recognizable. They use a consistent design, layout, and branding across all their titles. Each book focuses on a single topic, but together they form a cohesive brand that parents trust and kids come back to again and again. This kind of series building is marketing gold. Let's take a look at some of the other non-fiction children's picture books and see how successful they are. We've got the Backyard Bug book. Now, this book has a bestseller rank of 98, which means it's in the top 100 of all books on Amazon. It has less than 50 pages. Let's have a quick look inside and see what are inside of these types of books. And look how simple they are. We just have a image, probably a stock image of the bug, and literally one sentence about what this bug is and a little fact about it. The next page is the same. We've just got a couple of leaf images and then a picture of the bug, and again, one sentence about this bug. Super, super simple. Hopefully you can see what I mean, where you don't really have to be writing a story, you don't have to be writing dialogue in order to create these very, very simple but extremely educational books. The next one that we have is All About the Weather, another very short book. This one's only 50 pages and currently sitting with a bestseller rank of 896. These shorter books are aimed at kids that are in kindy or younger, and they have shorter attention spans. So that means the books are shorter and you don't have to put in as much written content in them as you would do for an older child. The next one is another bug book. Kids seem to love bugs. ABC Bug Book for Kids. This one has a bestseller rank of 322. It's just crazy how well these types of books are doing, these non-fiction children's picture books. And if we look inside this one, again, look at that really simple page. A is for ant. And there is just a couple of pictures of an ant, literally a sentence or two, and that is it. They move on to the next bug. Again, a couple of really simple stock images and a sentence or two about what a butterfly is. We've got My First Book of Planets, and this one sells extremely well. It's got a bestseller rank of 195. And if we have a look inside of this one, these books so far that we've looked at are all aimed at the younger kids. That's why they are so simple inside. This one has a little bit more text in it, so a few sentences per page. But again, just some stock images showing the planets, naming them, their placement in relation to the sun and the other planets and things like that. And in terms of what this would all mean for how much money you could make, let's just use this one as a really quick example. So let's say you create a book similar to this one and you are able to get it to have a bestseller rank similar to this. So what I'll do is I'm going to go pop that into the Kindlepreneur book sales calculator, which will do all the math for us. And we've put the bestseller rank in. It has 68 pages and a list price of $14.99. Now also ignore the sale prices on these books at the moment. It's currently Prime Day deals. Everything is on sale. And regardless of what the sales price is, when you publish your book through Amazon KDP, the royalty you receive is based on your list price, not the sale price if Amazon does reduce it for a sale or something. So for a book with a bestseller rank of $195, that list price, it's going to be selling around 6,000 copies in a month, which means those royalties are estimated to be close to $20,000 in a month. And that's just from one book. And this book is one book in a series of 10 related books. So it's a series called My First Book Of, and then it goes into 10 different topics. Being able to create a series is so powerful because here's the thing. When a parent buys the Big Book of Bugs or My First Book of Planets and their child loves it, what do they do next? They go back and they search for the Big Book of Dinosaurs or the Big Book of Space or whatever their kid is obsessed with. One sale turns into multiple. One book turns into a lifelong customer. And this is a model that you can absolutely replicate as a self-publisher. And there is a reason why major traditional publishing houses create these kinds of books and create them in a series. And it's something that we should all be replicating. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with every book. Instead of just creating one book, build a visual style that's easy to reproduce, establish your brand tone, and expand across a wide range of topics, all within the educational non-fiction space for kids. The key is choosing topics that are both fascinating and age appropriate, and then sticking to your brand's format across every book. Keep your illustrations cohesive across every book. Keep your language style consistent across every book. And keep your cover design on brand for every book. Before you know it, you're not just publishing a single book, you're building a full-blown educational publishing brand. This approach also positions you incredibly well if you do ever want to expand beyond Amazon. So whether that's pitching to schools or school districts, bundling books into curriculum add-ons, or even approaching traditional distributors, having a polished and purposeful series makes you look like a professional publisher. And now just a very quick pause. If you are serious about any type of book that you can publish and sell online, I highly recommend checking out today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of classes in self-publishing, design, marketing, all the creative skills that you need to grow your book business. I've actually been going through a class this week called Publishing a Coloring Book, How to Illustrate and Sell Your Book Online by Molly Suber-Thorpe. She is a professional designer who walks you through the whole process of creating illustrations through to publishing, right through to marketing. And although I have published coloring books myself already, I always like learning new techniques and finding better ways to create high quality coloring books so that I can create the best coloring books that I can. And so instead of just turning to AI, this class has helped me to continue to find ways to create coloring pages myself, because these are the types of coloring books that Amazon's customers prefer. Regardless of the class that you choose to take, all classes are taught by amazing, world-class creatives like professional illustrators, renowned graphic designers, and successful entrepreneurs, so that you can learn directly from real, super talented and successful creatives. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so that you can get started today. Now, let's get into how you actually start doing this, and that begins with choosing the right topic. You want a subject that hits that sweet spot between what kids love and what parents want to buy their kids. So you want things that are visually rich, so you can create beautiful illustrations and beautiful pages that hold a child's attention. You want them to be educational so that parents feel good about buying it. You want them to be evergreen, which means it will never go out of style. It won't be out of style or out of trend next year. You want them to be expandable, so something that you can build more books around later on. So you've picked your topic. Maybe it's insects, maybe it's volcanoes, maybe it's how airplanes work. Now comes the fun part, bringing that idea to life and turning it into a professional, market-ready book book that kids love and parents will happily pay for. I was able to break this down into a 5-step process that is very simple. So step 1, research and outline. Even if you're not an expert on a topic, that is totally okay. Your job is to gather facts and present them in a fun, engaging, and age-appropriate way. Start with credible sources. You can look at places like National Geographic Kids, Britannica Kids, NASA's website, or educational YouTube channels, and just take notes on cool facts, stats, or surprising info. Kids love did you know facts? So things like, did you know a blue whale's heart is the size of a small car? I mean, even I find that interesting. So kids are going to love stuff like that too. Group your findings into themes or chapters. For example, if your book is about bugs, sections could be, what is a bug? Bugs that fly, bugs that crawl, bugs who have superpowers, and so on and so on. Just make sure that you don't overwhelm kids with long blocks of text. Break things up into small, digestible parts. In fact, the younger the child, the less content or written text you'll want to include. Step 2, write your manuscript. This isn't a novel, so you don't need 10,000 words. Most non-fiction children's picture books are maybe between 500 to 1,000 words in total, and that is spread across maybe 24 to 40 pages. Again, this is going to be all relevant to the age of the child that you are creating a book for. The older a child gets, the more words and the more pages your book will need to have. Step 3, illustrations and design. This is where non-fiction picture books really shine because it's not just about the words, it's about helping kids see the information. Kids love visual aids. And here are a few illustrator options. Hire an illustrator from places like Upwork and Fiverr. Look for someone who has worked on children's books before if you can, and make sure to use someone who has had positive reviews. If there are no reviews, I probably wouldn't hire them. You can use stock images or clip art as long as they are educational, child-friendly, and legally licensed for commercial or for print use. If you're going to be using AI, just use AI tools very carefully. Always check commercial licenses for anything that you're going to be using in your book if you haven't created it yourself, and always make sure that the images are suitable for kids. You can do it yourself in Canva Pro or programs like Affinity Designer if you are confident with design tools. You'll also want to decide on your trim size, which is basically the dimensions of your book that you're going to publish. 8.5 by 8.5 inches and 8.5 by 11 inches are the most common sizes for children's books. Step 4, format and upload to KDP. Once your pages are done, it is time to package it all up and publish. Use Canva, PowerPoint, Affinity Publisher, or Adobe InDesign, whatever you have at your disposal and that you know how to use to format your interior PDF. Then you want to create a front and back cover that grabs attention. It needs to stand out in amongst all those thumbnails on the search results pages. Make sure to create your title using relevant and specific keywords that explain exactly what the book is about and who it is for, so customers know exactly what to expect when they receive your book. Save your files in KDP Ready format, which is a PDF file, and you are ready to upload them to your KDP account and get that book for sale on Amazon. Step 5, promote your book and build momentum. Publishing is just the beginning. You want people to find your book, to love it, and that means marketing. So here's what works well for non-fiction children's picture books. Pinterest. It is a goldmine for kids' educational content. Create pins like 10 amazing shark facts for kids and link to your book. Instagram Reels or TikToks show snippets of your book, page flips, fun facts, or even parent-kid reactions to your books. Email newsletters, build a list of parents, homeschoolers, or teachers and offer free bonus content to grow your audience. You don't need to go viral. You just need a handful of people to find your book helpful, tell others, and start a ripple effect. Earlier, when we looked at the top selling non-fiction children's picture books on Amazon right now, something stuck out very quickly, and that is they are all part of a series, like the Big Book series, which we looked at briefly earlier in this video. Then we've got the All About Picture Book series, where we've got weather and nature. We've got Little Wonder Bugs, and it's part of the Little Wonders series about weather, bugs, space, and the ocean. And of course, my first book of series, where we've got the planets, nature, ocean, trains, earth, so on and so on. And why do these work so well? Because when a parent buys one, they often come back back for more. When a child loves one of your books, chances are they'll want the next one. It becomes a collection, and collections are really powerful. Humans love collecting things. And as a self-publisher, this gives you leverage. With each new book that you release, you're not starting from scratch. You're building on the momentum that you've already created. If you want to build an educational self-publishing business, this strategy is gold. So, you're excited, maybe a little overwhelmed. That's totally normal. You've seen the potential of nonfiction children's picture books, especially when they're educational, visually engaging, and part of a series or a brand. But now you're probably asking, where do I even start if I've never done this before? Here's how you can start in a few easy steps. Some of these steps I have already mentioned, but we'll just quickly run over some of them again. Pick one topic, just one. Don't overthink this. You're just starting, and just think about things like, what are you curious about? What's something that kids just naturally love? What topics do parents and teachers always look for? You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be willing to do the research. Outline the content. And when you do this, think like a kid. Your goal isn't to write a textbook here. You want to spark wonder, excitement, and learning all at the same time. Things that you could note down about your outline are, what are the 10 to 15 most fun facts about this topic? What kind of visuals would help explain each of these facts? How can I write in a way that's easy for a child to understand? Keep the text short, use one idea per page or page spread, and focus on clarity and visual storytelling. Work with an illustrator or use licensed images. And this is where nonfiction has a slight edge. You can often use real photos that you can get from stock image websites or licensed vector illustrations instead of custom art, which makes things a lot more affordable and a lot quicker and easier to create for someone who is not an illustrator. I already mentioned earlier the ways you can get illustrations and images for your books. Your illustrations, your images, they don't need to be fancy, but they do need to be clear and crisp, high quality, and they need to match the tone of your book and be easy for kids to understand. Then you design and format the book, and once you're done with that, you will go through and publish your book to Amazon KDP. And remember, this is just your first book. Once it's live, you can start creating the next, and it's all about experimenting, getting experience, and improving every time. Next, start building buzz. Marketing doesn't have to mean dancing on TikTok, but a little buzz can go a really long way. The sooner that you start growing a small audience, the easier it is to grow a successful series. And think like a brand from day one. This is the biggest takeaway that I want you to remember. Yes, you're publishing a book, but think of it as the first brick in something much bigger. So give your brand a name. Use consistent colors, fonts, and tone. Start that from the very beginning. Build a small website. Create a logo if you want to. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it shows that you're serious. Nonfiction children's picture books are one of the most exciting and underestimated opportunities in children's publishing right now, and that I've seen in a really long time. They sell really well. They get used in classrooms and homeschool settings. They create repeat customers, and they're a perfect fit for building a powerful brand with long-term growth. You don't need to be a teacher, you don't need to be an illustrator, and you don't need to have a huge budget. Just start with a really smart idea and the willingness to create something that kids will love and that parents will trust. And if you have been sitting on the sidelines wondering if self-publishing children's picture books is right for you, or you have always wanted to create a children's picture book, but you just can't get your head around the story writing aspect that comes with fiction children's picture books, then this might be the perfect compromise, your perfect entry point into these types of books. You can publish real, meaningful, educational books for kids, and you can start doing it right now. If you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too. So please go check them out to learn more about self-publishing your own books on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.